Good morning, Edison Eagles. This is Dr. Lee, your principal, here with your Monday morning meeting. And remember, our theme for this year is Live Your Adventure. Whether it's the books that you're choosing, whether it's the activities that you're planning or your family does, or whether it's the things that you're dreaming about and you want to put into action and you're making goals to do it. Live your adventure. All right, it's December. Yep, that's right. It's already December. And we've got a vacation coming up. You're going to have 2 weeks off of school, but I want you to start practicing your habits. Remember, we're learning leadership habits, and our first habit was be proactive. And our second habit was, if you're listening, you could say it. Your second habit was begin with the end in mind. Your third habit was put first things first. And now we're going to talk about our fourth habit, which is think win-win. So we've got, again, a break coming up. We've got important work to do in the next 2 weeks. You've got schoolwork to do. You have responsibilities to take care of, and you've got leadership skills to exercise. So you need to be proactive, begin with the end in mind, put first things first. And then we're going to practice this new one, think win-win. And that means that everyone can get something that they want if they're willing to work together to do it. So that is what it is like living with other people, having friends, working together, is that we're going to find ways to both be pleased with the outcome or both be pleased with where we're going with something that we're working on. All right, our language for this month is Portuguese. And Portuguese, we have students here at Edison who speak Portuguese, and maybe one day they'll teach you even more Portuguese than I'm going to teach you here. Portuguese is spoken by people all over the world in different countries, and one of those countries is Brazil. And here is our phrase for this month. Olá, como vai? That sounds a lot like another language that I think many of us know, doesn't it? Olá, como vai? It sounds a lot like Spanish, doesn't it? It is in the same language family as Spanish, so very fascinating, very close. And that would be how you say hello. How are you? Olá, como vai? And then you could answer, eu estou bem. Eu estou bem. That sounds a lot like Spanish, doesn't it? So now you know a phrase in Portuguese. Let's practice that when you see your friends around school that speak Portuguese. Okay, our national park for this week is Grand Teton. Teton, maybe you've heard of that. It is located right next to Yellowstone National Park to the south in Wyoming, and it is a very beautiful park, but it often gets overlooked because it's right next to Yellowstone, but it's right on the way if you're driving from San Diego. And what do we know about Grand Teton? Well, what can we learn about Grand Teton is that it originally had earthquakes that were forming these mountains. And just like we have earthquakes in California, maybe you've experienced an earthquake one time or another. Earthquakes are when the plates underneath the surface of the earth start to move and shift, and that is what gives rise to earthquakes. Well, that has happened over 40-mile stretch because they are on a fault line where the plates rub together. All right, and technically they're part of the Rocky Mountains, and they have 8 mountain peaks. Okay, you can see the mountain peak. What is the peak? It's the top point of the mountain. So they have different peaks, 8 different peaks that are over 12,000 feet. And then they have the highest peak, which is Grand Teton, which is over 13,000 feet above sea level. So let me think about this. Let's do some math. Grand Teton Grand Teton Peak is over 13,000 feet. And how long is a mile? And you guys run a mile for Coach Thieves and PE. How long is a mile? Think about it. It's over 5,000 feet. So if I have 13,000 feet, and I'm going to estimate about how many miles high above sea level is that peak. It's almost, think about it, almost 3 miles above sea level. That's so far. I can't even think about running 5 miles on flat ground, let alone going up a peak. So that's pretty cool. All right, so that's our national park for this week. Have a great week, Eagles. Live your adventure, practice your habits, and have a wonderful week.